Assalamualaikum. This is Arooj Muzaffar from the Department of English, University of Southern Punjab. Today's lecture is about the structure involved into your work, This Boy's Life, and we are going to further elaborate it into its additional interpretive layers and film adaptations. In this lecture, we extend our study by focusing on the memoir's structural devices, its deeper interpretive implications, and the culture impact on its 1993 based film adaptation starring Leonardo and Robert De Niro. This examination will deepen your understanding of memoir as a layered literary form. One of the points that not only recounts experience but interprets and reframes it through narrative technique. To begin, the structure of this boy's life mirrors the psychological turbulence of an adolescent boy struggling for identity. Instead of relying on conventional chronological chapters, Woolf recreates a series of vignettes that act almost photographic flashes, each one capturing a moment, an emotion, a turning point. This episodic structure invites readers to assemble meaning from fragments, much like one reconstructs memory itself. A key characteristic of memoir is its ability to balance the spontaneity of lived experience with the coherence of storytelling. Woolf's memoir serves as a model because it allows scenes to stand independently while still contributing to a unified narrative arc. Consider the early sections that are there where Toby and Rosemary driving westward. With their shared optimism, these scenes established recurring motifs that appear throughout the memoir: mobility, fantasy, reinvention, and the illusion of freedom, where students should recognize how motifs function as connective tissues in memoir. Woolf's use of repetition is not accidental. Each turn to the themes of escape contrasts sharply with the claustrophobia that later defines Toby's life in concrete. Structurally, this helps the reader feel Toby's tightening world. The memoir's middle section dive deeper into the psychological relationships between Toby and Dwight. What makes these scenes especially rich for analysis is Woolf's subtle narrative layering. He avoids melodrama. Instead, he builds tension through small details: Dwight's thrift shop purchases, the endless course, the mocking tone, the sudden outbreaks of physical violence. This is a lesson in restraint for students of creative nonfiction. The power of memoir often lies in suggestion rather than in over explanation. Woolf trusts readers to understand cruelty by observing it firsthand, not by being told that it is cruel. Beyond its structural form, the memoir also offers interpretive richness when considering its portrayal of American masculinity in the 1950s. Although Woolf never explicitly analyzes masculinity, the book is a sustained examination of the pressure boys faced to appear tough, silent, hardworking, and obedient. Dwight represents the caricature of this cultural ideal: controlling, repressive, performatively strong yet internally insecure. Toby, in contrast, represents the boy who is shaped by this environment yet quietly pushes against it. Basically, it is the reflection of the students that how can they reflect on how memoir becomes culturally narrative by telling a personal story. A writer also reveals the society that formed him, and in this way, this boy's life moves beyond autobiography to cultural criticism through lived experiences. Another interpretive layer concerns the mother son relationship. Rosemary is one of the memoir's most complex figures. She is loving, artistic, hopeful, and stubbornly optimistic. Yet she also puts Toby in danger repeatedly. Woolf does not condemn her, nor does he idealize her. He just portrays her with a realistic reality. This emotional ambiguity is central to strong memoir writing. Creative nonfiction students should notice how Woolf uses reflective narration sparingly and sharply. He largely avoids long digressions analyzing his mother's behavior Instead, the scenes speak for themselves, allowing readers to understand Rosemary through her patterns. This is a form of narrative subtlety that distinguishes memoir from explanatory nonfiction. We should now address the film adaptation This Boy's Life 1993, which remains a valuable companion text for understanding the memoir's cultural impact. The film stars Leonardo as Toby, renamed Toby instead of Jack, the name Wolfe used for himself in the memoir. Robert as Dwight and Ellen Barkin as Rosemary. Its screenplay condenses the memoir but retains its emotional core. For teaching purposes, one of the most insight comparisons is how the film translates psychological tension into visual and physical performances. Dwight's character embodies the unsettling unpredictability that readers sense in the book. His performance communicates the emotional atmosphere that Woolf crafted through prose. However, the film also highlights the difference between memoir as literature and memoir as cinema. Scenes that Woolf conveys through internal voices had to be externalized in the movie through dialogue or physical action. This shift teaches students a valuable lesson. Memoir relies heavily on the interplay between memory and reflection, whereas film relies on action and images. For example, Toby's rich inner fantasies, his imagined identities, his longing for heroic reinvention are partially reduced in the film because they cannot be visualized as freely as prose can describe them. The result is a version of the story that is emotionally compelling but less introspective. Students should reflect on how this difference illustrates the special power of literary memoir. It allows access to the narrator's inner evolution, not just the events themselves. The film also simplifies some narrative threads, especially those involving Toby's delinquency. In the memoir, these episodes deepen our understanding of a boy who feels trapped and powerless. In the film, they are streamlined to maintain plot momentum. This difference underscores another important lesson for students. Memoir is not bound to the strict three-act structure that governs most cinematic storytelling. Instead, memoir can thrive on digression, recurring images, emotional fluctuations, and inconsistently timed revelations. The structure of This Boy's Life invites us into a mind information, not into a plot machine. And returning to the memoir, one of the most significant interpretive aspects is its treatment of truth. Students must understand that memoir does not claim perfect factual accuracy. Instead, it claims emotional honesty and fidelity to remembered experience. Woolf acknowledges that memory is selective and subjective, yet the memoir achieves authenticity through careful recreations of scenes and states of mind. In teaching creative nonfiction, this becomes a crucial point. Truth in memoir is created through sincerity of voice, ethical intent, and narrative clarity. Woolf's decision to portray his own youthful lies, his forced transcriptions, his exaggerated stories, all of this emphasizes a paradox. The memoir writer tells the truth by recounting the times he lied. Additionally, the memoir's ending warrants interpretive attention. Toby's departure to the prep school is not framed as a attempt but as a fragile escape. This tonal choice is instructive because many memoir writers struggle with endings. Woolf concludes not with the closure but with a sense of opening. The end of the memoir is the beginning of the author's life beyond concrete. Memoir writers often end with the moment they achieved perspective, not with the resolution of all conflicts. Woolf's ending illustrates how memoir can remain faithful to reality. Life continues beyond the page. Before concluding this lecture, it is worth emphasizing how This Boy's Life broadens the pedagogical purpose of memoir in a creative nonfiction classroom. It teaches students how personal narrative can encompass psychological development, critique of the family dynamics, cultural commentary, and gripping storytelling all at once. All of it demonstrates the use of voice, scene construction, pacing, emotional layering, and structure coherence. And through its film adaptation, it highlights and illustrates the unique strength of literary memoir versus cinematic storytelling. And ultimately, what makes this voice enduring is its emotional honesty. It is a memoir that memoir writer and memoir that looks unflinchingly at pain without indulging in bitterness, that acknowledges ambition without moralizing, and that allows the fragility of childhood to coexist with the sharp clarity of adult reflection. As you continue studying the memoir, keep in mind how each structural choice, each scene, and each reflective moment contributes not only to Woolf's personal story but to the broader possibilities of creative nonfiction as an artistic form. I hope it is understandable for you and you have got the basic idea that how the version and the perspective that is put into film is a bit different from the text which the writer had written. Thank you so much.